What it do? What it do? They gonna feel me, family. It's the crew, and we back with another episode. What's this, episode 16, fellas?
16,
We
16.
16 strong in the game. You feel me? So we got a great show for y'all today. Starting off with the cast. You already know who it is. It's your boy Chris. I'm the island boy. And I'm just trying to make it. You feel me? We also got my boy Reed's Trick or Treats, Al C Spooky Season These Nuts, and LL Cool Rob. So, like I said, we got a great show for y'all today. As we always say, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe. And today we getting into the show with what women should know about men. That's gonna be the topic of the show. So going into the first topic today, perception versus reality. Fellas, let's have a great talk for these women about the perception that they have of us versus the reality that they're gonna get. Who wants to start it off?
So, I think it should be fair for us to say this, but I mean, just in case, we don't want it to get misconstrued. Everything that we say tonight comes from a place of love. Women, who might be listening to this, you are loved, you're appreciated. We love everything that you bring to the table. But, at the same time, I feel as if a lot of times it's like a war of roses or something like that. Like when it comes to men and women and how we engage one another. And I think this episode is just completely, if not specifically, about learning the things that you can learn from us in order to understand us better. And maybe we could cohabitate, congress, get together in a smooth way. So I know the perception is a lot of times that we are just trying to be dogs, or we are just out here trying to, I don't know, be our best selves and take y'all for granted. And it's not like that. We want to be full people for you, and we hope that you're looking for full people for yourselves. So, I think that's one of the first pieces of perception that needs to be put out there. This is about love and all that jazz. So,
In regards from my standpoint, when we look at perception versus reality, I think it's important for us to make this distinction. And what we as men and women, women have a problem with is generalities. We'll have one experience and we'll make that applicable for every, for every person of that gender. And you can't do that. That's just
many
your
times
experience.
hurt people, and it
Yeah,
goes with that.
that's just your experience with that person. Let's not label all guys, this because that one person or that two people or that three people did this. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that there aren't men out there that have doggish ways, because there are, and I'd be lying to you if I say they're not. But there's a perception about men is all we want to do, is get them draws, and that's it. Like Tommy, GTD got them draws down. That's a perception that has dogged us for from the beginning of time, versus the reality. In reality, you have some guys out here that are really, really striving, looking for a woman that they can settle down with, a good wholesome woman that they can build together, start a life together. So I think that's one perception and one reality.
I think another perception is that men are like these hard, Neanderthal creatures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know we're masculine, but it's almost like we're taught to not show emotion. And it's almost like women view us as not having emotions.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like that's a big perception that needs to be looked at, because it's a lot of men out here with mental health issues that are committing suicide and, on tons of medication, because we are emotional creatures as well. We just don't show our emotions the same way that women do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of times we internalize our emotions and we try to put on this hard exterior, because we are taught to be masculine and not show emotion and be the rock. But I mean, internally, I can tell you for myself, there's a lot of times where I'm going through some things and I may, like I said, just keep it to myself because I want to be the man and be masculine and show that I got it all together at all times. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a big perception, and the reality is I just feel like women, like, one thing that you could do is just check on your man, just ask him how are you feeling today, like, is everything good, because you never know, he sometimes he may not tell you, because a lot of men too are afraid to tell their women because it's a thing that they may hold it against them. They may bring it up later in a conversation.
Tell their
If it's
friends, put their
something deep,
business
they
out
tell their
there.
friends. So I mean that's another thing. But just check on your man and ask him like how he's doing, baby, are you good? And you'll never know how, even if he doesn't break down and tell you, it may just relieve some pressure off of him. Like, oh,
Yes.
she's checking
I
on me. It may
mean,
just make him
hey,
feel better to know that somebody that you are checking on him and trying to make sure mentally that he's stable and good. You know what I'm saying? So
man, you definitely speaking gospel on that one,
Mm-hmm.
because I know myself. Even when I get asked that, a lot of times I be like, I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good. And
It's a
you have
natural
sometimes,
male trait,
yeah,
man.
sometimes you had to catch yourself, because sometimes you say it out of reflex and
Mhm.
not even realize that
You're
that
not good.
that
You are
yeah
not
You're
that
good.
really
you
Yeah.
not.
said it, because
And
you
that,
just saying it just okay. So I but then later on you'll be coming back with like saying it, saying, well, I went through this, or I got this going, I got this going on, or whatever. But that, man, that is definitely one. But I think also to go along with that is, in order for a lot of men to open up, we gotta make it a safe space. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying? A safe space for brothers to feel like they can, they can open up and not feel judged or persecuted or looked down on, or
mm-hmm.
as less than a
less than a man.
man,
Yeah.
because that machismo thing, it's it is destroying a lot of brothers mentally.
I think it comes from, everything that y'all said, but it also comes from, sometimes you'll think you got that friend or even that family member that you can confide in, that you can talk to. And then next thing you know, your business on social media, your business, you know, coming up at the next family function or something like that. And you're like, damn, what the hell? Like, I told you that out of confidence. And I think that's a reason why a lot of men are quiet. But I mean, like one of the main points, I mean, I think that the same level of care and respect that a woman wants, you should understand that men want that as well. You may not get it from every man, but for the most part, most men want that same exact care and respect. I want you to check on me. I want you to make sure my head space is straight. I mean, you gotta look at it. We're looked at to be the providers. We're looked at to be, you know, the protector and all this type of stuff. That shit sucks sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It really does. I
Sometimes
get
the
asked
weight the weight of the entire relationship can feel like it's on your shoulders,
exactly.
like, I mean, whether we survive, whether we make it another week, like, whether we eat, it can
Yep.
feel like it's all on our shoulders. And you may feel the same exact way, and if you do, then you should know exactly where we're coming from. It's just a lot of stress. And Reed's brought up a very good point. A lot of dudes are dealing with the trauma, even if they ain't dealing with like some serious trauma. They're just dealing with the trauma of like these expectations that men have thrusted upon them, and how we're supposed to look, as men, versus like, hey, it's like, I don't mind stepping up to the plate and being the masculine role in the relationship, but like at the same time, I want you to be my safe space. I need for you to be my peace. I don't need this to be war all the time. Like, I fight out there in the world, whether I'm fighting for a paycheck or I'm fighting, for blase blah. When I come home, I just need you to be, you know, the person I can confide in. You know, like my
Exactly.
yeah,
And not trying
that's
to take my
significant.
words and start an argument all the time. But
Mm.
moving on to the next topic, you did speak on. Oh, you got something else to say, Rob?
Now I was gonna say another perception because I know in my case,
Speak
and
on it.
we've talked about this a couple episodes ago. I I know I'm a laid back person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a laid back person. When I told you guys about how my story was about how I ended up getting married, and I think a perception that women have a lot of times, and you'll hear some of them some of them talk, and they will mention that men are afraid of a strong woman. I will categorically deny that one. It's not the fact that brothers are afraid of a strong woman. It's that you have to allow yourself, you know what I'm saying, the opportunity, or give a guy the opportunity, or let him know a inkling that you are interested, you know what I'm saying, interested. Let yourself at least be vulnerable to to, or open to the fact that, hey, this guy, he might not be the guy that's gonna come up and Rico Suave and sweep you off your feet and gonna whisper, some sweet nothings in your ear. But he might just be laid back. It doesn't mean that he's not attracted. He's not attracted to you, but he just shows it in a different way. He might use humor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He might approach you a different type of way, and you're expecting, this guy to come up. Hey, well, if he interested in me, he gonna have to come up and do blah 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 and blah blah. Everybody's not like that. Everybody's not as aggressive or assertive like that. There are some guys out there that they're interested in you. They just more chill. They're more laid. They're more laid. They're more laid back. So that's definitely a reality that a lot of brothers really are not afraid of strong women that have their stuff together.
I think it's just like that's almost like an excuse not to get into a relationship sometimes, to not hold down a relationship because they say men don't want a strong woman. But that's neither here nor there. So moving on to the next topic, we're talking about unrealistic expectations. So Alcy kind of brought up some expectations and things like that. So what do you think, or give me some examples of some unrealistic expectations that women have for men?
Men, one thing I would say is men are not mind readers. I think that's one of the biggest things that women think that men should just know. Like, and women need to understand that men are very direct creatures. Like, please just tell her if it's something that you don't beat around the bush. Don't try to give us hints, because we're not, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to get the hint. So just tell us, because all you're gonna do is make yourself mad, because like I said,
Frustrated.
most men are direct, and most men they don't pick up hints. So I mean, it is what it is, and we're not mind readers. So the biggest thing is biggest that's one of the biggest things that I think is unrealistic expectation, for us to be mind readers. And it comes from just, being emotionally attached to somebody. And sometimes you do know what somebody's thinking. You can pick up on the vibe that somebody has, but it's to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sometimes where my wife is thinking something and I'll know what she's thinking, and I'll say it, and she'd be like, I was just thinking that. But you can't expect us to just be mind readers. You know what I'm saying? That's just like a coincidental thing. So that's definitely one thing that I can say that is an unrealistic expectation.
That man, bro, you own it. You own it today, man.
Hey, this is
'Cause
show Reason Samuels. This film, big dog.
Hey, and I ain't being
I
hard. I
mean,
ain't being harsh. I ain't being rude. I'm being nice.
for real though. But then I'll tag along though, and I'll give you this nugget. And I think that it encompasses a lot of what you were saying though, is communication. That is the biggest problem for men and women. Communicate, being able to tell someone, hey, what you said, it offended me, or what you said, it didn't, it didn't offend me. If you're able to effectively communicate your feelings, your thoughts, your wants, your aspirations, or whatever, then people can clearly understand how to deal with you. Then, otherwise, we're just wandering around in circles, and none of us is Miss Cleo. Call me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to figure out what you're, what's going on, or what you need and want. Communicate effectively, communicate, and let people know what's going on, and that can cut down a lot of arguments, because
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, a lot of your arguments and a lot of misunderstandings happen because a lack of communication, effective communication. I say that effective, because yelling and screaming, that ain't communicating. That, because some people just shut down. You yelling at me, it ain't going. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. Yelling at me, yelling and screaming at me, it's not going to get anywhere, because I'm just
I
going to
think
start tuning you out.
I think a lot of women, when it comes to their screaming thing, I think when it comes to women and men, I think a lot of times nobody wants to basically give up their position. And that's the reason why it's an argument. It's like, I don't want to hear what you got to say and then take that in and respond to that. And you don't want to do the same. So now we're at an impasse where we both are two strong headed individuals that ain't listening to each other, to chime in on what you were saying.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as you grow in a relationship, you learn not to yell as much. You kind of, I mean, with some people, I'm not gonna say everybody does.
I was going to say,
Everybody does
No.
learn that. But I know in my relationship, with me and my wife, I could tell a drastic difference from when we first got together to now. It's like night and day. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if we do get in an argument, it's more like, let me go in here and think about like what happened, and then come back, and try to resolve the situation instead of like escalating it to a level that maybe one of us may say something that we regret. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just learning your partner, and like trying to figure out how to communicate, like Rob said, effectively communicate with them,
Mm-hmm.
even when you're mad at each other.
can I say this? Can I say this too?
Go ahead.
Because this really, 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 this irks my nerves. Can we please stop comparing our relationship, or your
That's the most
relationship, with
unrealistic
other
expectation that needs to be
people
brought spoken
on
with.
social media?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you see these folks on social media and you swear that they the best thing ever. Look at Will and Jada. I hate to keep bringing them up, but I'm just saying. You look at social media and you like relationship goals. I want this. And they look at that. They matching. They wearing matching onesies. For Christmas or for
Get the fuck out.
Thanksgiving. And meanwhile, you know what I'm saying, he knocking down the whole half of town. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he got the matching
Eric Jackson.
onesies on. You know what I'm saying? We wearing we matching. Stop comparing yourself and stop looking at social media for validation of what a man should do, or you know what I'm saying, what he ought to be like, and comparing him with other folks.
I
Please
think Reed
stop
that up
doing
last time as well. It's like, you trying to look at the grass on the other side thinking it's greener, and you don't know how fucked up and how patchy that shit is over there. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have this expectation or this thought that, oh, they're living this perfect life because of what they portray on social media. We all portray something that we may not be. We all have this facade that we live by, or you know what I'm saying, this image that we're trying super hard to uphold, but then when the truth comes out, you so surprised. And when I mean I see it all the time with YouTube couples. I see it with, just your standard celebrity
Celebrities.
couples and stuff like that. It's like when it breaks, my wife is always like, "Oh my god, can you believe he cheated? It just sucks, you know." It just seemed like all men cheat. I'm like, it's not all men cheating. It's just that when you start bringing that attention upon yourself, some people can't resist those. Some people can't resist that temptation, and that
black
just lets you
men.
know you need to stop thinking that what they got going on is everything. Because I guarantee you, when that motherfucking fire burn or that house burned down, this shit gonna look sad.
Black men don't cheat. And also, side note, this beard is really trill in real life. Okay,
But you know, all right. So I do feel this. You know, like I feel as if like when it comes to stuff like that, you know, Rob earlier said like, you know, some dudes they basically are out here and they don't necessarily want a subservient woman, but like some men out there do. They want a woman that's a footstool. And honestly, when it, you know, like they want somebody who's just basically gonna like lift them up, you know, on their back, and that is a red flag. And you need to be able to perceive those red flags and avoid them. Because to take it a step further, one thing about women, you know, that I notice, you know, I feel as if like there's a lot of women because of the social media age, you know, or whatever. You know, we don't live in a society where women are like the several generations ago, where they basically were like just homemakers and what have you. Women are professionals. Women bring a lot to the table. They're sultans of industry. Hell, a lot of times they're more educated than us. A lot of times in colleges, there's more women out there seeking their degrees than we are. And I feel as if once you get that modicum of success, that level of that upper echelon of status, I think women start making this checklist of things that they want out of men. And it's great to have standards. I'm not knocking having standards, but I feel as if like this idyllic, you know, romantic comedy dude that you want, you know, it's unrealistic though for you to expect somebody to be all those things. And maybe you might sacrifice great relationships with other people who you could grow with, you know, in order to be with, in order to look for this dude, this Shamar Moore, or this this Morris Chestnut ass dude that's out here somewhere in a
what is
Tyler
me?
Perry movie
You know,
that like doesn't exist. Like you and I wouldn't say that you have to minimize your wants, but I do think that you need to be perceptive of, you know, maybe some of your expectations out of people are just ill conceived. I don't know a better way of saying that, but you
One
know,
thing I will say, I want to speak to the dads out there. When y'all raising y'all daughters, man, stop setting this precedent. Stop setting this expectation that, oh, you need to marry rich or you need to find a rich guy. Stop saying that shit. That annoys me. Whether you joking or you telling the truth, because that shit can lead to some very dangerous stuff. Because every rich person ain't the best person. Okay, so stop setting that expectation and start telling some of these women when you're raising them, hey, go out here and be a leader. You know what I mean? Stop. I hear that. I've heard that in public. You know, I've had, you know, at my job, I've had people come in. I've had dads come in and straight up tell me, I told my daughter she needs to marry rich. It's like, come on, bro. Like, stop saying that. That's just not cool at all. And women, stop thinking that you got to marry rich. Y'all can have y'all own shit too. Y'all can be leaders of the free world. So cut it out. Stop thinking that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But
I mean, going along with it, I think the biggest thing though, man, is how does the guy treat you? You know,
that's the number one
at
thing
the
that
end
you
of
should
the
be more
day,
concerned about.
at the end of the day, how does the guy treat you, and is he a good provider? You know,
Yeah.
does he uphold his end of the bargain? Because obviously you don't want. I mean, I don't have a daughter, but if I did, you don't want your daughter marrying a deadbeat. You know,
Exactly.
a guy that's laying around the house, uh, doesn't have any get up and go about himself, and that's leeching off of her. Of course, you don't want that. But by the same token, you don't want to raise a daughter to be so materialistic that she is just looking for a paycheck, just looking
Hmm.
for how much you have in your bank account. Because, like you said, that can lead to many bad relationships, and just a cycle, a bad cycle, going looking for the same type of dude because you have had it ingrained, in your head and in your psyche. Hey, this is what I need to look, for. So above all, how does he treat you? How what qualities does he possess that make him look like, hey, this is somebody that I can build with? Do you see him as possibly being a great father to your kids one day, a great role model for people in the community to look up to, instead of some of the superficial things that a lot of people get enamored with?
Yeah.
Also, and when it comes to, I'm sorry, I don't mean to
No, go
interrupt,
ahead. Go ahead.
but also when it comes to superficiality, like also, I maybe we might talk more about this in super, when we get to like the self inventory. But like, I mean, like reality is that like I personally am not attracted to really flashy and like I'm not. I wouldn't want to marry somebody who's incredibly flashy, empty, and substanceless. And just like Rob's talking about superficiality, if like all you are is basically, some really impressive wigs, surgery, and makeup, like and some expensive clothing brands that you expect me to purchase for you, then and that's all you're bringing to the table, is like I want a bag, and you're the one that's going to get it for me. If that's all you bring to the table, then I mean, I don't want some Instagram model, type person. They're great to look at. You click like on their photos, but like they ain't the type of person that's gonna like keep you warm at night, get you fed.
Oh, they keep you warm though.
Build
They
a
will keep you
universe
warm.
with build something with you.
Okay, yeah, you ain't gonna be in them, but they can keep you warm though.
Well, build a household with you. That's what I mean.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fix that up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole, like I said, we've talked. I mean, like y'all said, we talked about it before, but the whole social media thing, like, and look into social media for validation or inspiration for your relationships, couple goals, like relationship goals, all that stuff is just is played out, man. Like we got to get to a point where we think for ourselves and stop looking to other people for what the image of what our relationship should be. And again, like I know it's been stated before, but I think that's the biggest issue nowadays. It's just like, a lot of people are looking at social media at these couples and thinking that this is what I want out of life. You see, like you said, you see designer brands and fancy cars and they matching and oh, that's what I want. But I mean, at the end of the day, they don't show you the inside of their relationship. Like, how do they get along with each other? How do they really love on each other? How do they support one another? You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that matters. That's the stuff that's gonna last, 50 years from now, because all that other stuff is gonna fade. Like, are you gonna be able to look at that person when they're 80 years old, because they ain't gonna be rocking designer then? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, designer ain't gonna matter when you got to change a diaper.
Hey,
You
you might have them Gucci diapers, bro.
like, I'm just saying, like, I think we
What?
got to
They
get
shit
back
expensively, big dog.
to thinking long term. I think a lot of stuff is just short term, like in like the now, that people thinking the now too much, and they ain't thinking, in the future, and what their life is gonna be 15, 20 years from now.
So I know we're gonna move on with the show, but I got one cool question, because I know I'm good with throwing in these questions, right? So one question that just kind of pondered on my mind: Why do you think that when men have conversations like this and we talk about what we expect from women and stuff like that, they get so offensive and well, defensive, whatever you want to word it, and get upset, but then they have these same exact talk shows and ask these same exact questions and they expect men to just listen?
I think that I don't want to think that women are on some I say jump and you say how high type shit, but let's be real. Like, I think the dynamics between men and women is designed in such a way where we give. A lot of our relationships, I think the structure of relationships classically aren't necessarily based on us as men, like necessarily giving as much of the emotional, reciprocating on both ends, the emotional aspect. Like it's usually a give and take kind of thing. And on top of that, when it's all said and done, I think women ultimately just don't want to be told what to do. I mean, there's been for such a long generation, women have been told what to do by men, and like the idea of a man coming along and telling me, "Oh, this is what I need to expect," or "This is what I can get," when I feel as if like I'm owed the world. Like, I can understand that might come off as harsh and abrasive, and might not necessarily mean it from a harsh or abrasive standpoint, but that's how it's perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Also, going, I think when you look at it, we, oh man,
Go
I
on
don't want
talk.
to be the guy.
Go on talk, big dog. Go on
Yeah,
talk.
man. It's your
Authentic
thing.
A lot of
conversation,
times,
Rob.
it's not what you say, but it's how you say it and it's how you present it. Because our first ever episode, we talked about your boy Kevin Samuels, and as brutally honest as he is, guess what? There are still women that religiously call in, religiously watch, religiously watch his show. And I'm not judging you people that do tune in and are fans of his. But I'll present it to you like this. And I remember, ALC, you used an example, when we were talking about Dave Chappelle, how we feel if, a white person came in and told us that this is how we should do whatever. We'll be offended. Like, how you gonna come in and tell us that we need to do this, how we need to blah, blah, blah. But same thing I said then, but I'll use a different analogy. If if you are taking a test, if you are taking a test, and I'm not going to say I have all the answers, but I have some of the answers for that test that's going to help you pass the test. Wouldn't you want me to share some of those answers to you? Yes or
Mm-hmm.
no? If somebody had some of the answers, I mean, we know some of y'all are real moral, and that might have been me. I wouldn't want to cheat, but the normal person, if you got some of the answers, hey, if you're gonna take a test, hey man, hey, slide your paper over. Let me get some of these answers. Basically, that's what we're giving you. We're giving you an insight. This is just an insight. Now take and do what you will. But this is the insight of men telling you about what? Men, because we are men. And a lot of times you wonder, hey, I wonder what were they thinking? Guess what? You got four guys right here telling you how some men think. So take the advice, do what you will, because at the end of the day, we have to make our own, decisions. So, that's what I would say for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes the truth is a hard pill to swallow at the end of the day for people. Like a lot of people would rather you sugarcoat things, than tell them in a harsh manner. And sometimes the harsh way of telling them things is the best way, because if it's blunt, then it'll be received better. Even though, in the beginning it may not sound good, but I feel like sometimes it resonates better with somebody when you tell them in a blunt and abrupt way. Like, and I think that's just the problem. That's the issue. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women are used to, we come into this society where, again, like women have been liberated. They have a lot more, they have freedom, and like trying to tell them from a man's point of view, like what men want, is, again, like Al C said, it's like going back to the old days of doing things. And it's like, no, we don't want a patriarchy. We don't want y'all telling us what we should, what y'all want from us, or what we should expect. So I think that's the biggest thing. I just feel like they got like women just be more receptive to what we're saying. We're not saying it in a harsh way. We just want the best thing for both of us. Like we want the relationship to flourish from both sides, on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So
Good talk. Good talk. Good talk, fellas. We just want y'all to listen, ladies. That's all. That's all. So moving on to the last topic, self-inventory. Inventory. My bad. My bad. My bad. So sometimes we got to look at ourselves in the mirror. So what is some advice that y'all can give to women about self-inventory and just looking at themselves in the mirror and what situations they have going on now?
Now on this one, you gotta put your big boy and your big girl drawers on, because it's gonna be a level of introspection that you just gonna have to do. And some of the stuff, when you look in the mirror, you might not like what you see. but it's important in order for you to move forward, in order for you to have growth, you got to be honest. You got to be honest with yourself and stop, sugar, like Reed said, stop sugarcoating it. Case in point, you'll see people all the time saying, "Hey, I want this. I want this, I want 6'3", 235 pounds with a chisel, with
Hopefully.
6 pack abs and a firm chest and all this kind of stuff." But then you like, and I'm not being mean, but I'm like, okay, so you look at them and you like, what do you think that 6'3", 235
Exactly.
chiseled abs and chiseled chest? What do you think he wants? I'm not being mean once again, but I'm just saying, looking at self inventory. If you pride yourself on being petty, if you pride yourself on being mean or having a nasty attitude, I'm I'm just being real. Brothers don't like attitudes, and that's just the honest truth. Nobody wants to deal with a nasty attitude. So look and take an inventory of yourself, because at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. All of us got some stuff we need to work on, because like I said, we're not perfect. God hasn't made a perfect human yet. So it's still work that we need to do on ourselves. So always be open to working on yourself and evolving to make yourself that better person, and take, while you looking for that perfect person to come by, be working on yourself though. Don't just be sitting idly by doing nothing, thinking, "Hey, I'm perfect already. I'm I got it made," or whatever. So
I
that's what.
mean, so I'm gonna say a lot of times the biggest thing I hear from women is a man, he gonna take me as I am. He gonna accept me as I no. Why? Like
But
why
you want
would
them to accept us as we are.
but you don't want to accept men the way that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like again, I mean, we all have our standards, like Alcy mentioned earlier. There's a level of, you know, there's a certain level of what somebody wants out of somebody else. Like everybody has their thing that they look for,
They
but
standards.
at some point you have to, especially when you get older, you have to come to a realization that you may not get everything that you want out of one person. You may not get the, like Rob said, the 6'3" chisel abs guy. You know what I'm saying? You may have to settle for the 5'9", 200-pound guy, that treats you right. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Settling is a strong word. You
and
might.
I know I hate that. This is why I hate the word settle. Settle has become such a negative word, and it is not a negative word. Like, it's not, settling is not a negative thing. Like, and people have made it this word. I'm not settling in life. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's like a death sentence almost. Like, if I'm settling, then I might as well. I can do bad all by myself. I'm not going. That's not what I'm doing.
Maybe we shouldn't say settle as much as like just keeping all of your options open.
Options open. Yeah, there you go. Like, or it's probably a simpler word, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think that I'm good. Man need to take me as I am. Like, it's just something that it just irks my, like, especially when you see. I don't want to judge. I'm not judging y'all women, but it's somebody for everybody. But a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying, like, be about 250, 250, 5'3", and
Ooh,
you
y'all
you
trying to
talking
get us
about,
canceled?
you know what I'm saying? You talking about you want a man
Send
that's
him the hate
6'3".
mail. Send him the
Like,
hate
I'm
mail.
just I'm just saying, like, and then you got two kids, and you talking about two kids by Pookie and Ray Ray.
No, don't go through. Don't go through.
We are
Don't
gonna
go
get
through.
canceled. Like this show
What's
gonna be
I'm
up,
just,
over.
Pookie
We ain't
hey,
and
making
Ray
episode.
Ray?
We ain't making
Oh,
episode
authentic
7.
man,
gee.
authentic conversations, bro. Like, so I mean, you gotta be willing to lower your standards, just a smidgen. You may not be able to go get you know LaMelo Ball. You might have to go settle for LeVar Ball. I'm just, I'm
I'm,
just saying. like,
I,
like,
I'm gonna chime in. Like, okay, I understand the concept of, hey, if I want this guy who looks this particular way, like LeVar, I might
Lamar.
have to go for Lamar. I don't know. Like, I get
Well,
that
I
as a
just pictured that
concept.
nigga walking in the house, cuz. The way he walked on the set of ESPN, oh my lord. Don't settle for LeVar Ball, ladies. Please don't.
I,
Go get
I,
Leangelo. No,
oh wow, man.
I'm just saying.
I say, like, I know in the last topic I said something about, like, how I personally don't like plastic women, but some dudes do. And I think that maybe in this conversation, another way to say it is, like, just find somebody you evenly yoked with, when it's all said and done. I mean, the women who basically still listen to guys like Kevin Samuels, I mean, they're a particular kind of person who's looking for a particular kind of person. I can tell you that I think that your search is going to be empty and besieged with a lot of issues, monetary mostly, and you ain't never going to be 100% happy, in my opinion, possibly. But if you looking for a particular kind of thing, what you ask for, you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? But find someone that you're evenly yoked with. I think that I also talked about red flags. Notice red flags. Respond to red flags. If you see that he ain't shit, act like he ain't shit. Don't think that you can change him. Don't think
Leave
that
him
he's gonna.
alone.
That I mean, he might. You one day he might be different, but he gotta grow, and you can't initiate that growth.
You
He
can't
gotta want
change
to grow.
anybody.
can't
You can't
change
change
anybody.
nobody.
That
Can't
maybe that's
change,
just the person he is.
especially men. You cannot change a man. Stop, ladies. That's one thing. That's another thing that I see. You think that if I stay with him, if I try to inspire him or like build him up,
He just
like
ain't met the right one
he,
to
he just
change
ain't
him.
met the right one. He ain't met the right one to change him. You not it. You're not the one for him. A man will. There's two things that a man's gonna do when he meets the right one.
Preach.
He's gonna propose and marry her because he knows that that's what he wants. Men know and already, like, in their mind, when they're with that one, that this is the one that I want. It may take them some time, but if you're wanting to get married, and a man is leading you on for years and years and years and years, and you ready and he may not be ready, it's time for you got to move on. Like, stop wasting your life with somebody who's not ready. And two, you will never change a man and make him be a man. Stop trying. You cannot make a man be a man. That is
Yeah,
that is not your job. For one,
yeah,
his daddy should have did that for him, and if he didn't, then oh well. But you cannot make a man be a man. A man has to do that on his own. He has to grow up on his own. So just stop trying to baby some of these men. Y'all want to get these bad guys, and you think you're gonna, if and don't think that they're gonna treat you badly, basically. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, if he's a bad guy, what do you expect?
A
Like, you're gonna get
leopard
bad treatment.
cannot change his spots.
Exactly. It's just
Can't do it.
I
Can't
don't
do
know,
it.
man. It's just
I was
I
going.
mean, we said that, like, there's men out there that wants a good, wholesome women, but some of them don't.
Yeah,
Some of them just don't. Some of us
some
just
men,
ain't
I
shit.
mean,
yeah,
and
some
like,
men just want to
it,
have a good time,
okay,
literally.
and like,
Yeah,
there it goes both ways though, and that's what man, I told you. But think about this. When we talk about communication, just be upfront and be honest, because and let people know what you're in it for. Because some people are out there just looking for a good time. And if ladies, that's you, that you're out here just looking for a good time, you don't want anything serious, let them know. Let them know that. So then they will know how to treat you as such. And then you can treat people as such. But if you are looking for something long term, looking for something, some commitment, let people know from the beginning so they'll know, you know what? Okay, she looking for something real. I ain't looking for something real. So let me, You know what I'm saying? Let me go on. Let me go
The part
on.
that goes along with that is listening and understanding, because a lot of times some people let that shit be known in the beginning and they still try to stick with them and try to change them and then end up getting hurt. Then you gonna go on to the next person and hurt them. It's like some people gonna let you know, and that goes both ways, like you said. Some men gonna let you know, and definitely in this day and age, women gonna let you know, man, I ain't trying to stick around. I'm just trying to get that head, get that bread, leave. Fuck you talking about. So look,
last thing I will say, man, I was trying to think of something else that rhyme with that. That boy said, "Let me get that head, let me get that bread," and I was like, "Hey, man, well, I ain't trying to get wet, but I mean,
I ain't trying to get away.
so she need to go on somewhere else and get fed." But the last thing I was gonna say about self-inventory, is be aware of baggage. Be aware of any baggage that you have, and please deal with that baggage before you get involved in any relationship, because baggage from previous relationships can kill, destroy any future or present relationships that you have. So that's a part of self-inventory. Look at yourself and realize, hey, I'm carrying this weight. I'm carrying this weight. And like Erica Badu, bag a lady, you gonna hurt your back. Let it go. Let it go. Drop that bag, drop that weight.
LIG, Reggie.
Let it go. That's all I got to say.
To piggyback off of that, I would say like mental health is definitely affecting a lot of people's relationships. A lot of people have been in nothing but toxic relationships, you know, and they're used to unhealthy relationships. And so when they actually get in a good relationship, they try to mess it up because they're so used
sabotage.
They self-sabotage because they're so used to toxicity. So go get counseling, bro. Like figure out your, like Rob was saying, if you got baggage, I just want to add to it, just go get counseling, get therapy, like, and try to figure out what it is that attracts you to that toxicity before you get into a relationship with somebody who's ready to really be in a serious relationship. Because, you know, those toxic relationships, they're fun. They may be fun. You may love arguing and making up, you know, but at the end of the day, is it going to go anywhere? Is it going to end in, you know, marital, you know, bliss, you know, or whatever.
Or the 10 o'clock news.
So, yeah, I mean, like, just get it together. Like, let's all get it together. Like,
and definitely, I got the last thing I'll say. And definitely stop trying to finesse dudes. Stop trying to finesse dudes. You know, like you wonder why dudes like end up dogging you because somebody dogged them, finessed them. And just realize that, like, if you want to be one of those broken ass people, you know, just realize the universe got this very efficient way of bringing that energy right back into your life, and you ain't gonna like it when it happens to you. Like, you know, the same thing happened to us, you know, and I guarantee the same thing is gonna eventually happen to you. You know, stop acting like you're a hard rock when you really are a gem. You know, you need to soften yourself, humble yourself, and
a lot of y'all really ain't sad. Y'all say y'all savages.
Y'all ain't savage. You can't beat us with savage because, like, every dude got a little future.
We ain't gonna try to out savage. We ain't gonna try to have a savage contest.
Most definitely, but that's good talk. Good talk, fellas. Good talk. One thing I will say as well, women do not stand for no abuse, none of that bullshit. If that shit is happening, get out ASAP. I'm so do not stand for that.
Help.
Do not be afraid. If you gotta call somebody, reach out, talk. Whole topic that we always have is mental health. But again, another great show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If y'all dig the show, share it, because this show can help somebody. Hear me now. Get with somebody. You feel me? And they make somebody on a freak show. Fuck you talking about. But y'all have reached the end of the episode. We definitely appreciate you guys for watching and staying tuned. Again, like I said, don't forget to comment, like, share so a friend can see it, so another friend can see it. And until next time, it's your boy, the Island Boy, and the rest of my crew checking out. And as we say all the time, if you didn't feel us this time, I guarantee you gonna feel us next. See you.